Chilly Monday morning here in Bakersfield, California, out on my bike path. I actually slept over 6 hours last night, so finally the Pfizer-induced insomnia has passed. That's just my opinion, not scientific at all. But so I got up, rode the spin bike a little bit, did a little kettlebell. Now out here gonna do a paced 6K walk and then a cool down, and then off to work on some other videos, play some poker. Not a whole lot going on. Feeling a little better than I did Saturday after that race. I was really beat up Sunday, but I always kind of forget that if you do a hard effort, you should feel it the next day, and especially when you're doing these shorter efforts. Last night, talking to the Jester and some other people, congratulating them on their Beyond Limits performances. A lot of PRs, people doing 100s for the first time, people doing 200s for the first time. So a lot of exciting, fun stuff. Thanks. And I always get a reminder of my most devastating and actually only injury that ended up putting me in the hospital. Good old Johnsberger, unfortunately, is on my wife's loop she does. She has a little 4K loop that she does most mornings. In fact, I'm walking backwards on it to get to her. And yeah, like you said, you can still see grease there. They wash it out of their grease container. Slipped and fell. Couldn't walk for 6 weeks. Thank you, Johnsberger. And there is the Weasel, aka my wife, being boring and getting in her kilometers this morning. Was just on the clubhouse with a group talking about trail running, but also just basically some ultra runners, and a young man on there who just won a race. He's from Portugal or Spain, I think Portugal, and then he won a big race in China, Hong Kong. So kind of crazy, world renowned there. Another Norwegian ultra runner came on. Well, we were speaking to the Swedish guys yesterday, and this guy's the 24-hour record holder and has big plans. And it was interesting, he brought up the topic about his training, and how he's doing, 100, 140 or more, even like 300-kilometer weeks. So he's putting in 30 hours of training, and everyone's just aghast. And it's interesting when you're talking to so many runners, especially endurance, runners per se. They think anything more than like an hour a day is a lot. So they do like an hour a day, but then they go out on the weekends and do this crazy, 3-4 hours on Saturday, 3-4 hours on Sunday, and then wonder why they're always hurt and injured. Whereas if you put in the mileage, it protects you from being stupid. And so I chimed in. I was like, yeah, I do, 20, 30 hours a week all the time. And then of course people are like, where do you find the time? And I often say to people, like, with running, 10, 15 hours is totally doable. And like if you're in other sports like triathlon and cycling and stuff, swimming, you're putting in a lot more time. So it's interesting that runners just love to talk about running and how to get better. They talk about all these things, all this cross training, all this diets, all this equipment, all these techniques, instead of just going out and doing what I'm doing right now, easy miles, building up your endurance, building up your strength, because I always say you have plenty of speed in your legs, you just don't have the strength to maintain it. And this weekend proved that. I was in that 10-mile trail run, but I walked the whole way. I was in dead last, but the last 2 or 3 miles I passed, there's only 50 people in the race, I probably passed 10 runners who were walking. And why? They have plenty of speed, they just don't have the strength to maintain the speed you have. And so you've got to get off this whole idea of go hard or go home. It's just about doing what I'm doing and what Blanca in front of me is doing, is stay healthy and be boring. The Weasel is walking away from me because I'm kind of tired. I'm at 10K. She's at 2K, but it's great to have someone to train with, especially at the end of my workout. There's, of course, the prerequisite wind leaf blower. But I want to thank you guys all for the likes and the views. And please hit the subscribe button if you would. Really appreciate it. And as always, staying healthy and be boring. And tell me how your week's been going. What's your plans? We've got a big race plans, me and the Jester. in 2 weeks.